Hello, good evening. Right, I'm going to talk taxi shop now. Right, okay. Nissan have announced, well, it's a research company that used the Nissan vehicle, but it's a long story anyway, using Nissan components and whatever anyway. Their new 100% electric taxi will be hitting the streets, actually available to test drive by the end of this month, which is good news. It's good news. They reckon there's a range of 174 miles, fully charged, right? But with everything on, that brings it down. At least they're emitting to about 140, 136 miles. So at least they're emitting that, unlike the others. Now, this one has been tested thoroughly, unlike the one built in this country, which has bits wrong and they're altering it as they go along. This one has been thoroughly tested, researched and used on the roads in different cities. So therefore, they know the SP in that. It's a 6-seater. Therefore, good. Looks good equipment for the driver. And they're going to do a no deposit, £220 a week, and you pay it off in 5 years. That's the good news. The bad news is they don't know how long the batteries will last. Now, they're estimating because they're using the battery from the Nissan Leaf or similar, right? They reckon it will be a 6-year lifespan of the battery with the push and pull and the rugged use it gets as a taxi. Now we'll wait and see. It might be a bit shorter than that. Now, if I want to go and test drive one, and when I do, I'll give a report on here. But what I'm looking at is, they're the questions need to be asked. Is there a supplement or an insurance you have to pay to safeguard the battery? Because their estimate is between £5,000 and £7,000 for a replacement battery. Now that's a hell of a lot of money, isn't it, to find? Yes. Yes, there you go. So it's things like that. I mean, the mechanics, basically, it's not going to have any issues. And the servicing, wait for it, the servicing for a small service is £50. Yep. And what they class as a major service, £75. Now, if you do one on a normal taxi, you're talking upwards of £300 to £500. So it's a lot of difference there, isn't there? Now, unlike the other one, this is purely like the one built here by the electric taxi company, built in Coventry. That has a generator, so you're supposed to get 100 miles, you get 60 miles. That's why I've been informed, right? 60 miles range, but you do have a backup generator that gives you an additional 337 miles, and that's the benefit of that. The only disadvantage is that is £196 a week payment for 5 years. And you have to put a deposit down. But at the end of 5 years, wait for it, you have to find £18,000 to actually own the vehicle. Now, the issue there is going to be, there'll be a glut of them available because all the people, all they do is trade them in and do it again, won't they, after 5 years? So there'll be a glut of second-hand electric taxis around. What value will they be? Will they be any good? Will they have the same issue with the batteries? There you go. So these are all unanswered questions. But I think it's a leap into the dark that has to be taken because... as I say, with the ones built here, the electric taxi company, what they've done is they reckon you save £100 on fuel. Nah, you're not really, are you? I've been told by people who've got one you save about £60, right? Now to rent one is a bloody small fortune, £340 to £350 a week to rent one before you find your money. Right, that's a hell of a lot. These new ones be interesting to see what value they are because they are to rent and whether fleets will touch them. They're £49,000, £47,000 compared to the other one, which is £55,000. Doesn't sound a lot, but the one built here, they stick 15 grand interest on what you're paying over the 5 years. You pay 70 grand. With the other one, I'm not sure what extra you're paying, but you have paid it off. So you bear in mind, 70 grand vehicle, you've only paid off £50,000, just over £50,000 in 5 years, and you've still got to find an 18 grand to pay, right? The other one is paid 5 years, it's your vehicle. It looks well equipped. As I say, I'm going to have to go over and have a test drive and ring up and sort out something. I'm going to have to compare both and see what's what. But it looks a nice, smart little vehicle, little Nissan. The only downside is it doesn't look like a taxi. That's the only thing. People won't stick their hands out. It doesn't. But, I mean, if it does the job, people get used to it. That's all right. Same with the Vitos. People don't like them. They think they're a van. Well, this is sort of a van and all, isn't it? But then at the end of the year, we've got another one coming online, which is a Toyota. Right, now, I've not seen any pictures of this, but the Toyota, what they're actually doing, they've done the same testing. They've done millions of miles in it to check that bits work and don't drop off and whatever. And bear in mind, they have the Priuses. Now, the Priuses are sort of bulletproof, and not a lot goes wrong with them. But what they're doing, which is very clever, Toyota are going to showcase these at the Rugby World Cup later this year in Japan. They're going to be the courtesy vehicles, driving people around. Now, their range is over 200 miles, apparently. That is what they're saying. So you've got to nobble off about, so you get over 1.5 out of them a day, which ain't bad going, I don't think. Yeah. Now, the London Electric, or the London Electric cab that's built here, you have to have a socket outside your house. You don't have to have a socket, but you get a grant, and it costs you £400 to have one fitted, and you can charge, right? The issue with that is I live in a terraced house, and therefore we've got communal parking, and I can't run the lead because it's illegal to run a lead over a path, apparently. There you go, you see, something you didn't know. Now, the other thing being, these Nissan ones, apparently you can plug them in, charge them with a 3-point pin from a normal socket, but it takes up to 8 hours to do that. So that's no good. I can't do that neither. So these are the questions that have to be asked and addressed again, and all sorts like that. Simple questions. So if anyone on here is looking at one of these electric vehicles, please post on here or put something on Facebook about what you think, the pros and the cons and the whatever. Now, this is a TX4. It's a diesel vehicle. The cab. This is the other thing. The ramp is built into the floor. With a Mercedes, the ramp is stored in the boot. It is the same with the Nissan. And I'm not sure what it is with the London Electric taxi. I think it slides out, but it's a bit fiddly. So bear in mind, if you're looking at one of these, you have to get the ramp out the boot. The ramp will be in the boot of the Nissan, all right? I don't think it'll be an issue to fit because they're never that hard, but it's a thing bear in mind and a thing you have to think about before you look at buying one of these, all right? So at the end of the day, there's your options, right? So at the moment, you have the one built here, right? The Nissan's coming online at the end of the month. Don't know how long the delivery span or whatever is, or everything like that. So that'll be 2. But by the end of the year, we're going to have the Toyota. So a choice of 3 electric taxis. Right. Whether it'll bring the price down of the other one, the one that was first on the market, we will wait and see. I doubt it. But if people start buying it, they might give you incentives. So I would say it's worth hanging on. Now, I know the shortage of taxis is ridiculous for the amount of drivers because of the decommissioning bollocks that Totally Failing London did. At the moment, we're 4,000 cabs short. 4,000 cabs have left the fleet in London in the last 6 months because of the decommissioning. And if you don't know how it works, they've put £42 million up as a sweetener for drivers to decommission their cabs, take them off the road, the most supposedly most polluting ones, which they're not because they adhere to the regulations at the time they were produced. There you go, you see. Right. And the other thing being, what they've done is they turn around and say, right, your cab should be £3,000, we'll give you 10 grand. Now, a lot of people have jumped into this. And a lot of people, what they've done is, by doing this, some of the older drivers who were getting on a bit and thought, I'll do one more year, they've looked at it and thought, well, sod it, that's probably what I would have earned. I'll take the 10 grand and run, and they won't have the aggravation. So they've done that. But the big problem is they should have stipulated that it's 1 cab per registered owner, or the money must be used as a down payment on the new electric vehicle, right? But they wouldn't do that because they know there'd be no uptake. They were scared they'd have this money sitting there. They're saying how wondrous it is because X amount of millions has been used of this pot. All drivers are going for it. But they're not saying about the fact that the shortage and the fact they're not going for the electric vehicles. That's all they needed to say. Them 2 statements in there, so that people would have to think twice about it and go, oh, now they're rubbing their hands and thinking they're doing a good thing. They're not. Because what's happening is certain drivers who rent, the garages are upping the price of the rent. And if they don't pay it and they're over a barrel because they won't get a taxi anywhere else, they're saying, I know someone else that will. The guy I particularly rent off, he's telling me that every day he gets phone calls from enough people to completely rent out his fleet again every day, over and over. So there's that much shortage of taxis, right? So you have to hang on to one. This one, it's all right, it does the job. It's bloody warm in here. But I've got to be honest, I'm scared to give it back in case I don't get it back again for whatever reason. You know what I mean? And he hasn't got a replacement at the moment to do any work on this because they're all been utilised. So we will see. We will see what happens. There you go. So that's it. So there's your choices of electric vehicles, okay? I know it might be quite boring to those that are not in the know, but there you go. I thought I'd do it and give you an insight to what's what. Yeah. Okay? See ya. Bye-bye.